What's up, everyone? On today's episode, I walk through the 5 things that I learned from stand-up comedy that I use in my business, specifically in sales. Hey everyone, welcome back to Contractor Growth Network. I'm Logan.
I'm Alex.
And today's episode is kind of a fun one. So what I want to do is I want to walk through the 5 things that I learned. I took a stand-up comedy class, and on the 7th week of the class, which is the finale, I had to perform in front of about, what do you say, 35,000 people?
Yeah, that's about unit size.
About 300 or 400 people in the audience. But going through the class, I learned 5 super important things that I've actually been putting into place myself, and it helps immensely in the business. All right, so the first thing that we want to do is just get it over with. We'll play the clip if you're on podcast. It's about 7 minutes long, 7.5 minutes long. So if you don't want to listen to it, it's not crazy raunchy, but it does cuss a little bit.
I wouldn't play it at work or in front of your grandma, unless your grandma's
Cool.
but yeah.
I mean, I asked my mom, I was like, would grandma want to see this? She's like, I just don't think she'd be able to keep up with it, but she'd be okay with it.
My grandma would like to see it.
My girlfriend's parents were in the audience for this.
Yeah.
So, and we weren't allowed to like really cuss because of like, we're in the South. So
Yeah.
it's cool. So go ahead. If you don't want to listen to it, skip about 7 minutes ahead. If you're on YouTube, you'll obviously be able to see what's what. So go ahead.
Y'all make some noise for Logan Schinholzer.
How good was Michael? Being up on stage, this shit's pretty hard because the number one fear in America is the fear of public speaking. Lucky for me, my number one fear is not public speaking. It's the fear of having to spell under pressure. I first learned this a few years ago when I was getting my cat registered to live at our apartment complex, and I'm sitting across from the apartment complex leasing office lady. My cat is a Siamese cat, which hails from China. The leasing office lady across from me, she also hails from China. All right, so this is a cat that the Chinese are very, very proud of. It's kind of like the Aussies with the speed and agility of the Australian Shepherd, or the English with the inbreeding of their bulldog, just like the royal family. So this is my opportunity to show this leasing office lady that I'm proud of her culture. I'm supportive of her. I mean, I can't just whip out my phone and show her that I have Asian favorite on Pornhub. So she slides her form across the table. First line down, type of animal, cat. And then bam, second line down, breed of animal. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, shoot, how do I spell out Siamese? So I write something down, cross it out. Write something else down, cross it out. And I was like, screw it. Write a third thing down, check off all the boxes. She's got all of her shots done. She's spayed, and I slide it back to this lady. Lady goes, your cat is a sesame? And I'm like, oh, how did I mix up their national type of cat with the national type of chicken? But before moving to Charlotte, I actually used to work as a high diver in a dolphin show at SeaWorld out in San Diego. One lady hadn't seen blackfish. And when I first started working there, they had this one really weird rule. You may not make eye contact with the dolphins. And I'm obviously thinking, like, what are all the reasons that this came about? And I figure it's because dolphins are the only other breed outside of humans that have sex for fun, and SeaWorld knows that, you know, if I keep making eye contact with dolphins, they're gonna think that I'm asking for it. Look at the tank like, hey, yo, Barrett, you see that new boy? I think he's been giving you the eyes. And then, God forbid, I slip and fall into the dolphin tank. Barrett the dolphin takes about 8 years of pent-up aggression out of my asshole. Well, come to find out, it's actually because if you make eye contact with the dolphins and you don't immediately feed them when they come over to you, they're going to get pissed and they're going to rebel. So when I get fired from SeaWorld about 6 months later, on my way out, I'm making eye contact with every dolphin I can. And I have no idea what chaos ensued as soon as I walked out of there, but I would imagine it's probably the dolphin equivalent of like a full-on prison riot. You know, you got Barry makes a shit out of a fish spine, stabs Dolores with it. You got Bubble shits into his fin, throws it at the triggers trying to blind them. And then you get back and turn on the news. And tonight's top story, a disgruntled former SeaWorld employee starts a dolphin ride, leaving 2 dolphins severely injured and 7 trainers with pink eye. So, you're probably thinking now at this point, you know, this guy's life sucks. Can't stand under pressure, and he got fired from the amphibious version of Carolers. But I do have one fun party trick. Kind of. Whenever I smoke weed, my body decides it's time to get an erection. True story. Which, the first time I ever learned that this was a thing was when I was sitting in between 2 of my buddies on one of those really tiny IKEA couches. And of all the scenarios that you're mentally prepped for when you're between 2 of your buddies on a small IKEA couch, a weed boner is definitely not one of them. You know, you got the standard like, oh, what are we gonna watch for the next 4 hours on Netflix? Or like, oh, how's IKEA get this couch so soft? Or that's typical, hey man, I think that Postmates dude knew that we were high. So, I've got this weed boner and I'm dealing with it. And it's gotten so bad at this point, I now have to smoke weed to get it up. Which means that every time I've had sex over the past 3 years, I've been high.
Yeah!
Which means that for 3 years now, my girlfriend has had sex with somebody who just giggles for about 2 minutes and 48 straight seconds. And I gotta give her credit because she'd be getting into it, really trying to set the mood. Like hit me with some good moans, like, yeah. And then high me, we're hit her back with a Mickey Mouse, ha ha! So now, she's having sex with this high guy, and the worst part about it all is that I lose focus halfway through the performance so often that I'm getting up and going to the kitchen to make myself a sandwich. Well, we got it worked out, where now I bring all my snacks with me to the bedroom. I got my Chex Mix on the left nightstand. I got my Hot Pocket on the right. I get up, she thinks about to go down on her. I got a fruit roll at the foot of the bed. And I'm high when we finish, because you don't get unhigh in 2 minutes and 48 seconds. But she won't have pillow talk with me. So what I've now learned is that the #1 way to kill your Postmates rating and put it down to about a 2.8 star rating is by trying to have pillow talk with the Postmates guy, still with a full-on erection, talking about the dolphin ride of 2015. Thank you very much.
Hey, Logan Shitholzer, everybody. Keep it going. We don't smoke weed in those jeans, man. Tight jeans, man.
Okay, we're picking back up. You just watched it. You probably laughed your ass off. All right. So let me walk you through the class and how it went, and then I'll start to kind of jump into what I learned from it all. So first off, a lot of what I'm about to talk about is all sales related. Okay, so the class was 6 weeks long, and the way that the class worked was the very first class was just how to set up a joke, how to tell it, things like that. Do you know how a joke is structured, or like what goes into jokes, things like, you know?
No, not really. I just know like you have to have a certain timing. There's a rhythm. I don't know what the rhythm is, but like the punchline's got to hit at a certain point.
So there's exactly. So there's always a premise, which is a general theme. There's a setup, which actually sets the joke up. Then there's the punchline, which is like the joke. As a joke, there's different ways to do it. You got jokes that are coming like sets, like rules of 3. Like when you listen to the stand-up I just did, you'll notice that a lot of things all came in 3s, and it's deliberate for that. You've got things called callbacks, which at the end you bring back a joke. There's a lot of different intricacies to it. So the very first week was all about jokes. What are they, how they work, things like that. And what we learned in there was jokes, just like people you're selling to, they're sheep, right? What you're doing is when you're doing stand-up comedy is you're trying to train the audience to laugh. So what they talk about is with Dave Chappelle, when he says a joke and he hits the punchline, he takes the mic, he slaps it on his leg, and that is the cue to the audience, laugh. So even if it's not funny, the audience still knows it's time to laugh. So it was cool because they and I'll talk more about that with the timing aspect of all this, but they teach you just the basics of it. Then the next week is you got to come in and you got to have 3 premises. And what a premise is just the overall theme of what you're going to talk about. It's not actually jokes. It's more of just like a funny story, because what comedy is a funny story that happened to you at some point in your life that you just exaggerate to the nth degree. So as you guys hear what I just talked about, clearly I wasn't hooking up with dolphins.
No.
So
That'd be very extreme.
yeah. But you take like one little tiny thing that may or may not happen in your life, and you literally just push the envelope deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, trying to find humor in it. So that's what I did there, was just took all 3 of those premises and just pushed the like, I'm bad at spelling. Did a whole story on leasing, like all this stuff, but leasing office lady, the smoking thing, like all that stuff is just like a tiny, tiny bit of it, and then you just push it. So that was the second class. Third class was actually come in, and in between the second and third class, write everything down. Literally write everything down that you could think of for each one of those premises, and then you just read it in front of the class. Then the fourth class was between the third and fourth class, you're supposed to chop it down, try to get it from maybe 15 minutes of material down to 5. So remove a lot of stuff. Fifth and sixth class were just actually practicing and doing the memory stuff. And then seventh class was actually speaking it. So that's kind of how the class ran, just so you have an understanding of this was all, I went from nothing to being on stage in 7 weeks. I had 2 professional teachers there to help me with the comedy stuff, just to kind of give you a background, because a lot of this is no different than sales courses and sales classes teaching you how to sell better.
Did you, going into it, did you think your sales training and
No.
that would
way.
help?
No, dude. I thought it was just straight, because going into it, I was like, okay, I'm okay on stage. I think I'm naturally like kind of a witty guy. So I was like, okay, I think I'll be okay at this stuff. But I had no idea that I was going to like learn what I was going to learn and then bring it back to actually like selling, which I've done for the CSA since then. That's why we have a new script. And that's why I'm getting more into like teaching people how to say stuff versus what to say, which I'll get into. But like I took so much away from that because it was really just how to communicate with somebody. Okay. And it was very well done in the comedy world, because it's in sales, you get like the, I'll think about it. You get the like maybe later if they're going to say no, but in comedy, they just don't laugh.
Yeah.
So it's very obvious.
I thought your timing was very good for as a person who's never done comedy before, to like go on stage and time out your jokes pretty well. Because there was some of the people that went on there in your class that they, their timing, we could just tell was like, that wasn't a thing for them. They were just telling a story. And whenever it landed. Like that was it. But yours was pretty well thought out. And I know when you sell, you're pretty good with timing, your pauses and all that stuff. So I thought that was a good comparison for it.
So let's just go ahead and jump in on that first one, because that's one of the 5 things I learned was the timing aspect of it. So like what Alex is talking about is with timing, it's when you set up a joke, it's how does it flow? So what happens when you first do comedy apparently is you get in there and you'll hit your punchline, but because you're not confident in it, you hit the punchline and then you keep going. So you'll, like in this one, I'd be like, oh, how did I mess up the national type of chicken? Now, before I moved here, what that does is that is the same way that when you hit your punchline and you don't shut up, that doesn't give the audience time to actually laugh. And if you keep going, you train that audience not to laugh, which is why Dave Chappelle trains the audience to laugh. So when it comes to the timing, when you hit it and you stop, and you let everybody know, hey, this is the punchline, because you're hitting them with a pause, they know this is the time to laugh. Now, how does that relate to sales? We all know that, well, you're supposed to know, when you give out a price, you then shut up. Because what you then do is when you give the price, a lot of people initially, if it's more than they thought it was going to be, they go into a minor version of fight or flight mode. And from there, they don't really know how to react. So you got to give them some time to kind of go through their own thoughts. So what you're doing is you go, yep, this website is going to cost 10 grand. Shut up. And just let them think about what's going on. Let them imagine or play in their own head, wow, that's way more than I thought it was going to be. Again, still, let them think it through because you got to give them time to actually understand what's going on. It's hard to do this, though, because it's kind of like in comedy. When you hit a punchline, you have to stop and wait for them to laugh. But what if they don't laugh?
That's why bombing in comedy is it's a big fear, but it happens because you have to have that pause, like you said. And if no one laughs, then you're bombing, and it just gets more and more awkward. So in sales, it's kind of the same thing as you're afraid of rejection, so you're counteracting that by not but just keep going with your sales pitch and hoping at the end they'll either say yes or no. But it's like, no, let them kind of come to you a little bit.
100%. That's exactly right. Where you don't have the confidence in your numbers, or at least the delivery of your numbers, to let them think what they're going to think. Because if you keep blowing through what it's going to, after you give the price, then now you're trying to save yourself by making yourself feel better. But in reality, the people, they don't hear anything you say at that point. They don't give a shit. Because they're like, yeah, I'm either in it or I'm out. 10 grand, I'm out. Versus 10 grand, okay, I can do that. But you got to give them the time to do that, and you got to let them know, hey, this is now the time for you to speak, and you let me know what you're thinking. I'm going to let you continue to talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. So it's a scenario where it's very tough to do, and that's what, like, a big thing that I learned with the comedy stuff was the timing of it all. Slow it down, let it flow, and then when you hit a punchline, you have to shut up. You have to embrace the silence and let the audience do what they want to do, instead of you say the punchline and then you keep going because you're nervous of what they're going to say, because then they don't ever laugh. So if you say a price and you just continue to go, you're going to lose them.
Yeah, I never realized until actually breaking it down how timing and confidence really go hand in hand, because if you're not really going to laugh at someone who's not confident in themselves, it's kind of awkward and you're not going to laugh. They don't think it's funny. And in sales, you're not going to buy something from somebody if they're not confident in their own product or service.
Exactly. And that's the second thing that I learned, was it's all about enthusiasm on stage. So I don't know if you noticed it when you watched everybody else perform that night. There were certain people that I find that from being in the class with them, they are significantly funnier than I am. However, they were nervous on stage. And when they were nervous on stage, it was obvious. So when they hit their punchline, they kind of just slimed through it.
Yeah.
Even though they were like, some of the things where I was dying in class listening to what they were talking about, but when they get up there, they get nervous and they couldn't continue on with it. And it just visually looked bad. So for me, like, a big part of it was because I went and watched some open mic nights beforehand. There's one girl specifically, I don't think I laughed a single time during her performance. It was 10 minutes long. I didn't laugh a single time. But I was like, that was so fun to watch. Not funny, but fun to watch, because she was so into it. She was so energetic, so enthusiastic about it, that even though I didn't laugh, it was entertaining, and I enjoyed watching it. So I knew going up on stage, even if my jokes are not funny, if I can try to transfer my energy into the audience, then I'm at least gonna, like, entertain half the crowd here.
Yeah. No, because it was a couple people in your class that I felt like they were just so nervous, but they were stiff on stage. And they were just in front of the microphone, just kind of looking forward and like doing the, stage fright tactics. But you got to have that move around ability for me to, like, that's why they walk across that big stage, all the comedians, and they attract the whole crowd, and it's like you're engaged in it still. And I mean, I guess that might be hard to convey over the phone if you're selling, but it's the tonality of your voice, I think, that also can help that, because you can't really actually see them.
People can feel it. People can feel what you're, how you're feeling, how you're speaking to them. They know if you're smiling or not. So the energy side is huge, because think about it. Like, when was the last time you bought something from someone that you weren't excited about?
Probably never.
Never.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in a contracting industry that's very pleasure based. You're probably not too excited to get the mold remediated from your bathroom. But if you are a kitchen remodeler, nobody's going to buy and go, yeah, I guess guess I'll just do the $75,000 option.
Yeah, well, I'm in the middle of an apartment search, and I'm going to look at apartments, and that immediate vibe when you get the real estate lady, if they don't like, well, one lady really didn't like, was answering my questions kind of half-assed, like one-worded, and I was like, well, I'm not moving here. Like, you suck as a sales lady. Like, you give me nothing really here, and the energy was so dull. But like when the energy is like upbeat, and they're super excited to have you. Yeah, it's a sales tactic, and I can kind of pick that out, but it comes off as very enthusiastic and very exciting, and makes me kind of want to, in the moment, yeah, I'll sign a lease. Like, why not?
And how much longer does it take the energetic lady to get something across versus the unenergetic lady?
Nothing. She just sounds more confident.
It literally just sounds like, and it sounds like she actually wants you there.
Exactly. It sounds like she could be your neighbor, and she's like, yes, we'll be neighbors. We're gonna have so much fun. Meanwhile, she doesn't live anywhere near the place. But
I sign up for a program or a service for us where for $5,000, what somebody will do is they'll talk to me and they'll help me get the vision of the business out of my head onto paper so everybody can see it. So it's better for the employees, better for customers, better for everything. And one of the biggest reasons why I, like on the phone, pulled my credit card out, said, great, $5,000, I'm good, was two things. One, she called me the second that the clock turned whatever time we had the appointment, which for me is big because that's what I do. I have it on dial, and it's like 2 p.m., boom, I hit go. So it's done. So it shows people like, hey, look, I legitimately want your business, so much so that I'm going to call you on the dot because I'm prepared for this. I hate when sales reps come in 2 minutes late and like, hey, sorry, I got caught up in a meeting. I'm like, I used to be a sales rep. You don't have that many meetings, bro. No. Like, you're just late. All right. Then the second thing is also you could tell she like wanted to help, which she literally could have asked the exact same questions, but the energy that she put across was like excited for the business. And again, it's kind of what you got to do in sales. So whether it's genuine or not, doesn't matter. At least they're giving a shit. So it's like a doctor. You want to get surgery from one, they got to do the surgery anyway, but one that's just like there and being empathetic versus like, sorry, man, he died. Like, oh, okay, thanks.
Sick.
Yeah, like great. You could have at least been like, sorry, man, he died. Like it's different.
Yeah. Is there? You think there's a sense of like likability too that you want to have? Like, if you don't care to be liked, do you think a lot of people you can rub people the wrong way, and like that can negatively affect your sales game?
100. I mean, like, do you buy from salesmen that you hate?
No, not at all. Unless
right.
it's a great product, and I know I'm going in there wanting it, but
yeah, and like at that point, it's yours to mess up. But as a whole, you buy from people that you know, like, and trust. So you don't really trust people that you don't like for the most part. So yeah, and that's like the order of everything is know, like, and trust. It's not three things. It's actual order where you can't like and trust somebody if you don't know who they are, or you can't trust somebody if you don't know and like them. So yeah, that's a big part of it with the salesman. So you're going to buy from people that you like, and a big part of what it takes to get somebody to like you is the energy. So when you get up on stage, or when I was getting up on stage, I knew that as long as I brought the energy to the room, they would at least respect me for what I'm doing. Because it's the whole idea of like, do you know The Man in the Arena, that quote by Teddy Roosevelt? Okay, it's a pretty famous one. Long story short, what the quote talks about is the man in the arena is everybody's like looking at him, kind of like blasting him and this kind of stuff. But the only people, like, he's in the arena. He's the one doing it. So you can be in the audience going, oh, that comedian sucks. They're not funny. Like, screw them. But at least they're up there. They're up there. They're doing it. They're getting after it. So it's like when you see other business owners, or I see other business owners, I'm like, okay, I respect them for what they're doing as long as they're putting forth the effort. So even if they're putting forth tons of effort, but the business is not going as well as what they want it to be, I don't judge them. I go, wow, like, I massive respect for them for doing that, instead of me going like, well, they're an idiot, because it's the idea that at least you're putting yourself out there for it. So I think I have a very different spin than what most people have as far as like participation trophies. I'm a fan of them.
Really?
I think they're necessary.
Why?
Because you need to reward effort, because you still need to acknowledge that you lost the game, but you need to reward the effort involved. Because if you don't reward the effort involved, are you ever going to put yourself back out there?
No. You're gonna be discouraged.
You're discouraged. You're devastated. So many people are so wrapped up into this, well, if you're not first, you're last mentality, that's why we have speed over perfection. Well, I'm not going to do this unless I'm comfortable with it. oh yeah, well, I'm not going to play a game, I'm not going to win. It's like, well, then you're literally going to do nothing in your life. Like, you're going to have no experiences because you never take a chance unless you already know the outcome. But entrepreneurship is not, you don't know the outcome.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen to you, and you pivot so much that it's unbelievable. So I'm a big fan of acknowledge what happened. Hey, look, with this marketing campaign, like, it didn't work at all. Like, it sucks, but at least we tried it. So now we know that this is one way to not do it versus just going, yeah, this sucks. Like, what the hell, guys?
Yeah, I think you got to look at it. Like, I'm not a person that likes participation trophies, but I'm also a person that was brought up that, I don't know, higher goals and, not like just, skate by. And I think the participation trophies are made for people that are down on themselves, or they need that just to like have those goals. You know what I mean? Know what I'm trying to say? It's like they're not the go-getters that, other people are brought up to be. So that's meant for people that need that push to say, yeah, you're doing a good job. You have the effort. Let's go for it.
We'll do a whole other, after this podcast, we'll record a second one on the participation stuff, because I have so much stuff on it, because I'm like one of the only people that I know that's a big fan of them.
Yeah.
So
I'm surprised knowing you that you're a big fan of them.
Because but I am. I'm a big fan of them. So we'll get back to the comedy stuff, but then we'll do a second one follow up all about that, because I think it's going to hopefully shed some light into it, because I'm not saying you got to do it for everything, but there are certain times that it's necessary to keep people going. So, all right. So that was the energy side of things, right? Somebody's up there on stage, they're getting after it. As long as they're putting forth the energy and showing that they're in it, you're going to naturally feel the same way too. Which brings me to another thing that you brought up. The fourth thing that I learned was the tonality. When you're on stage, when you're making these jokes, you're saying these things, the way that you say them, they're represented in different ways. So I'm on stage. Let's say that sesame joke, right? At the end, I go, how did I mix up their national type of cat with their national breed of chicken? But if I just go there and go, how did I mess up their national type of cat with their national type of chicken? Versus me doing audible, go, how did I mess up their national type of cat with their national type of chicken? Two different results as far as what point I'm trying to get across. And what I've learned more and more about this is in sales, especially in the CSA, a lot of people, they know what to say. They're good at knowing what to say because it's almost robotic. If somebody gives you this objection, you give them that objection. If somebody says this, you give them that. But they don't know how to say it. And how do you say something makes everything. It makes a big difference. So in reality, I'm starting to learn that sales is probably 75% how you say it, 25% what you say. Because again, even if you're a terrible sales rep, but how you say things is empathetic and energetic at the same time, you're going to buy from them. Even if they don't do all the right, like if they don't ask you all the questions about what car you're looking for and this and that, but if they're just like, Alex, I'm going to be honest, man, this is the coolest car I've ever seen in my whole life. Like, it's got all the bells and whistles. It's got, like a 5-year warranty. We're going to do all the maintenance on it for 3 years. It is just like, it's a crazy slam dunk of a deal. You're at least now going to start to think about it. Oh, well, it's a pretty good deal. Versus just like, like they didn't ask you a single question. They didn't ask you what kind of car you're looking for. They just went right into it. So you're going to have to kind of navigate those waters a little bit. But the way that they say things and the tonality of it, it goes back to that energy. It's huge. You have to say things the right way for people to take them in the right way.
Oh, it's like when you ask your wife, your girlfriend, when they ask you, how do I look in this, outfit? And you go, hey, you look good. That's it. That's because you didn't convince them. You didn't say it with a good tonality. You're like, oh, wow, damn, you look good.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
They would just go right back and smile. But you're in the rabbit hole because you didn't say it like that.
And I did that with Christy yesterday where I was telling her how I ask certain things. So if somebody comes to me, like when I sell, I'm usually more blunt. And I'm just like, look, I got to be honest, man. It sounds like you haven't done anything to help your business out. What are you hoping that I can do for you? Because you've done nothing for yourself yet. So I'll say like very blunt things like that. But the way that I say it, I don't say it like how I just did. I'll usually raise my voice very high, an upward inflection. Like, I got to be honest, man. Like, it sounds like you haven't done too much for your business. So like, what are you hoping I can do for the business that, is actually going to work or something like that? Like, but the way that I do these upward inflections, it's strategic,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also I'm naturally a curious person.
Yeah.
So I want to know, look, like what's going on that you're hoping I can do it versus me just go, Alex, look, you've done nothing for your company so far. What are you hoping I can do for you?
Yeah.
And it's just like it's a difference.
One sounds very concerning. One sounds like judgy.
Exactly why.
Mm-hmm.
That's why in that book, Never Split the Difference, when they talk about do your best to not ever ask somebody why. Ask them what or how. Alex, why'd you wear that shirt today? Versus, Alex, what made you wear that shirt today?
It was clean.
Alex, how'd you pick that shirt out today?
It was clean.
Yeah. But it's like why is a cornering thing.
Why is like you're completely like, oh, that's an ugly shirt.
Yeah, exactly. Like why'd you choose that car versus
Mm-hmm.
what made you choose that car? Same tonality, but just the difference in why versus what made you. Huge difference.
Yeah.
Why'd you call me today? What made you call me today? Big difference. So the same thing with tonality with everything is like, why'd you choose that shirt versus like, hey, why'd you choose that shirt?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See
you
that?
actually care instead of
Yeah, exactly, versus judgy.
Yeah.
So the tonality of the way that you say things is really 75-80% of the sale, in my opinion. It's all how you say it, and that is something that you can hear all the time, but until you practice it and you start to get comfortable with it, it is tough.
I was just about to say, like, it takes repetition. Like, you can't just, like, go off the bat and be like, it might even come off awkward the first couple times you do it. But that effort of trying, and you'll learn from that, and you'll get better. Yeah.
Like, when I speak, at first, I used to try this, like, deep voice thing, and it didn't work. So now I go Stephen A. Smith. So I go really high up on it. And that's more of my style, and I feel more comfortable with it. And instead of me coming in with this, like, baritone, like, deep, like, you're listening to me now, I come in with just a nice, high, like, friendly voice, and it helps a lot. And I can say a lot of the blunt things that I say because it's just who I am. I'm really wondering that, like, hey, look, why'd you start your goddamn business? Like, that's, like, you've done nothing for yourself.
Yeah.
But if I can say it in a proper tone, it makes people feel like I'm not judging them because I'm not, but I'm just curious on, like, what's going on.
Mm-hmm. So I took a sports broadcasting class in college, and they give you examples of, who Dick Vitale is, the college basketball analyst. He starts everything with a high pitch. Like, he's very animated, but it's not like, you shouldn't do it that way, because in the good moments that deserve that, there's nowhere to top it. Like, once you start off at that high pitch, you can't top it, really.
Oh, that's
so if
good.
you start as a baritone, like kind of monotone, on just like, oh, he passed the ball, missed the shot, when it gets to the end and they hit the shot with 3 seconds to go, you're excited, and that gets everybody else excited. Like, what? That was a crazy shot. When really it could just been like a wide open layup. But it's like you're setting the tone of what is actually exciting, not every play.
Oh, that's cool. So that's kind of like a call to action. Like, if you, like, on a website or a video, if you emphasize everything, then it loses the effect.
Yeah, and like the ShamWow guys, or the those the Chop Shop or whatever infomercials, they're animated at the call to actions, or when their product is really hitting why it's different. It's like while he's dicing up the fruit and it comes out in those cubes. That's where he's more excited than just dice up the cubes, you can do this. But look how good they come out.
Oh,
you see, it's kind of the same philosophy. Yeah,
it's like the same thing that, like, we do with all the marketing stuff, where, like, things that we want you to draw your eyes to on the page are different colors.
Exactly.
The color that stands out.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not going to make a call to action gray. We're going to make it red or orange.
Yeah, because odds are you're not fully attentive the entire 4-hour game.
Right.
But you're going to be attentive, and you can remember the exciting parts, and the announcer's there to help that.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I never knew that. That's cool.
You could use it for sales.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, it's the same exact thing, because you want to draw attention to certain aspects of it.
Yeah.
So, that's the tonality side. Is you need to let people know that you're there for the right reasons, and you do that by changing your pitch and changing your tone. Mm-hmm. So that leads us to the fifth thing, which was actually one that I've made the biggest change on. Is when we did this class, we didn't just go in there, rattle off a bunch of jokes, and then the next class go and rattle off a bunch of different jokes, and then go in there and rattle off a bunch of different jokes the third time. It was the exact same script over and over and over, and we would just continuously take material out or rework material in it. What happens with sales is people come in and they sell somebody something. Then the next time they go to sell somebody else something, they do it completely differently. They don't stick to their process. There's no system behind it. So it's almost like every time they try to sell somebody something, it is a different process of doing it, which if you continuously change your process or your system, you're going to have results all over the place. Mm-hmm. So instead of just trying to continuously go into every sale doing something differently. And yes, there's certain sales that are different. Like selling a home is going to be different than selling a drywall repair. But to actually have a set system and process in place and then refine off that process, that is how you optimize this stuff. Because then what you can do is if you record your calls, you can go back and listen for like the questions that you asked that may not have hit so well.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, do I replace those? Do I say them differently? Or do I go ahead and just completely remove them from the sales system? But when you can go back and you can refine it, well, now you're in this place where it's repeatable, where you know, hey, if I say this, they're going to say that. And then if I respond with this, they're going to buy. Versus trying to wing it every single time.
You're fine-tuning your craft.
Yes.
Instead of reinventing the wheel every time, you're fine-tuning your craft.
Exactly.
It's look at the Patriots. They've been great for 20 years. Why? Everyone knows what they're going to do. They're going to take away your weakness and exploit it.
Yep.
But no one can stop them. But they don't change their game plan. Every other team changes their game plan to try to beat them.
Yeah.
And they always lose. Why do you think that is? Because they're not following their own process.
Yeah.
The Patriots follow their process every single game. That's why they're, 6, 7 Super Bowls. I mean,
yeah,
exactly. It's the one thing to stop them, obviously, but you can't go off track. They're just every game, every year, they fine tune how they're going to beat you. That's it.
It's the same thing for years. So it's like if you try to change up how you painted a house every single time, not major changes, but big enough changes that it's going to throw you off each time. And that's how most people attack this sales game. They don't have a set structure in which they do it. Even in the CSA, that's why we created a script where you come into the CSA, there's a 9-point process where it teaches you, here's how you answer the phone. Here's how you then call them back. Here's then how you ask them what they want. Here's now how you tell them about your process. And then here's the 5 steps of the Shin Fu. So it's all laid out right there in the way that even within the first step, or the I guess at this point, 5th step, which is the pain and pleasure step or the motive, figure out what's going on. When I do role plays with people, they're all over the place. They'll ask me a question about, well, what kind of paint color do you want? Great. Well, what's your wife's name? Okay, got it. Now, who's going to be looking at this paint? Got it. Okay. Now, what have you done? Are you going to hire other contractors? And I'm like, what is the rhyme or reason here? There is none. They're all over the map, and they're asking questions just to ask questions. So now, when we script it out, there is an exact rhyme or reason to why you ask these certain questions in this specific order and specific manner, and then that way you figure out what order of what set of questions work for you, and then you just repeat that over and over and over, because a repeatable sales process is one that will allow you to continuously earn money.
Yeah, and I think that's where people think it didn't work for me because I didn't get the sale, but it's not the overall principle that you believe in that failed you. It was your process and how you actually executed that, that principle. So I think that's where people have to look into that more and not the overall process. They need to change a whole new philosophy. You don't. It's just you have to fine tune your process and your execution.
So it sounds like what you're saying is give a participation trophy for somebody who's trying it.
We'll find out next podcast. That's what I'm actually saying. But
so that's exactly right. Is you're not trying to reinvent the wheel every time. If you get up and you're in MLB and you swing and you miss a pitch, you don't automatically start to hit switch. Like you don't jump on the other side and go, okay, well, right-handed didn't work. Let me try left-handed now. If you try different things every single time, you have too many variables. In the world of marketing, if you try, it's called A and B testing, but if you try to do 2 different things at the same time, I change up something relatively small, or I just only test one variable versus testing a bunch of different things. If I had 2 pages and I want to see which one's going to do better and convert more leads, I'm not going to make one, let's say, let's just make it easy. The color background of one is red and the color background of the other one is green. I don't then add a bunch of new text, a bunch of new testimonials to the green one, because then I don't know if red or green is better, because green has all this other stuff going on the page. So you just kind of figure out what is right and what is wrong with it. And that's the same thing with comedy. You don't create a new script each time. You figure out, you do your set. So on that set, if you listen for like the three things that you think about or that you're mentally prepared for when you're high, I would remove that bit or change it or replace it with something else, because when I said the punchline, it didn't land. So I'm like, okay, great. Instead of me just going, well, I'm going to throw the whole thing away and start all over, now I just know to get rid of that set. But the rest of the set is good because I'm not selling this. I'm not performing to the same people every single night. You're not selling to the same people over and over and over, so they see that it's robotic. Each person thinks that they're the first person that you did this process with.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna get the same laughs each time. If you watch how all the stand-up comedy comedians do it, they do in the small clubs, they do a set. Then they work their way up to the bigger clubs, do the same set with small bits of refinement, and then eventually they move up to their Netflix special. Mm-hmm. But by the time they're on Netflix, that's not the first time they've done those jokes. They've done them dozens and dozens of times in different arenas, different venues, working up to that. So they know all the jokes that are going to work. And if for some reason they want to try something new, they don't do an entire new stand-up. They just put one joke in there, because you never want to have back-to-back jokes that don't land. Mm-hmm. Because if you do that twice, now the audience thinks that you're not funny and they're against you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. That's why they made you cut down from 15 minutes to 5, because you can do that. You can cut out the jokes that don't land.
And then, and if you want to try something new, you throw it in there, but you don't want to throw in 2 weird questions in like a sales process, because if you ask 2 in a row, they're gonna be like, "What is wrong with this guy?" But if you ask a good one, then you ask a new one and it doesn't go well, save it with the next one that's a good question again. So they're like, okay, now I'm back on their side.
It's the pre-sale planning, I think, is the big picture there. That you need to be able to plan this out and write it down and be able to analyze yourself after the call of actually what went wrong and what went great, and you can keep it.
Yeah, it's like when you're dating. Mm-hmm. You know, you break up with someone, you figure out, this is what I liked about them, this is what I didn't like about them. And then the next person you move on to, you find somebody who has the stuff that you liked and less of the stuff that you didn't like. Mm-hmm. That's all it is.
There you go.
You're not going from, this girl was great for this, and then now it didn't work out, so let me go pick up on this dog or something. Something like totally random, like totally new. Like you don't reinvent the wheel each time.
Yeah.
So those are the 5 things that I really took away from the comedy class that I never really, like, I may have knew a little bit about, but it really stuck with me in comedy. It's been helping me out with sales. So it's the idea of scripting out what you're going to say. The idea of using the proper tonality, that is everything. Timing of what you say with those silences and those pauses is big. The energy is huge. And then last but not least, this is what I didn't even talk about. Not everybody's going to laugh at your jokes. That's the 5th thing. Mm-hmm. When you sell, there's a lot of people that are not your customer. There's a lot of people in that audience, when I say a lot, maybe like only one, that didn't laugh at what I was doing.
Yeah.
So not everybody's going to get my humor, but if I try to, if I don't make one person laugh and I fixate on them and go, oh, they didn't laugh, this must be a bad set. Well, I'm forgetting about the other, 300 people in the room, and I'm thinking about that one person that didn't laugh. Mm-hmm. And instead of me reinventing the wheel and going, let me start over because that one person didn't laugh, I just go, screw it. They weren't ever going to laugh at me anyway.
Yeah, that's in the comedy world, and that's why the Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr's new specials that came out last year, they kind of talk about how they jumped on the grenade for everybody, because there's going to be that offend culture now. Mm-hmm. that they're not going to like these, but majority of their fans loved it.
Right.
So that's why they did it, and that's the same principle. You're not going to make everybody happy. You're not going to make everybody laugh. So be okay with the rejection.
Yeah. Like if you get one bad review, are you going to completely change up your business model and what you guys do because you've had 300 good reviews and one bad review? No. Same with your sales process. You don't make a sale. You don't go back and reinvent the wheel. You listen to just go, okay, was this person ever going to buy from me anyway? Mm-hmm. Do I need to take out one weird question and replace it with a better one? Or was it the fact that my budget, for what they wanted me to do was going to cost them $10,000 and they only had $500 to spend. So no matter what I was going to do, they weren't going to buy.
Yeah. I mean, 95% of the time, a good company that has a bunch of good reviews, that 1-star review is for kind of an outlier experience where they had, and they kind of either put it on themselves or it was circumstances you couldn't really control that just led it to a bad experience. So, I mean, you can't change your whole company values from it.
Yeah, it's one blemish on it. So I knew going into that, my style of humor is not everyone's style. Like Audrey always makes fun of me. She was like, you're going to get on that stage, Logan, she's like, there's going to be 3 people with your exact humor who are going to cry laughing, and everybody else is just going to be like, what is wrong with this guy? So I had to switch it up. Like I had to do a style that worked more for like the crowd versus like what I would naturally like.
Yeah.
But it worked because it was more like you want to play to the masses, and if you have 300 people and 50 don't laugh, but 250 laughed, that's a win.
That's a win, yeah. I think the whole crowd liked dark jokes anyway.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
the dark comedy.
Yeah, and I guess in the grand scheme of things, I don't think mine were that dark. But
no,
you're talking about having sex
like
with
taboo. Yeah, like taboo stuff. Like you wouldn't talk at Thanksgiving dinner. necessarily.
That's what we brought up before. And I was like, look, everybody looks at porn, but nobody wants to talk about it. So
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so like you can use comedy as that vehicle.
One 6-year-old man did talk about porn though, so
he did, yeah. So so those are the 5 things. Make sure that you guys are understanding that there's a lot of people that you're not going to sell to, and that's okay. But don't sacrifice the other 4 things and change that up because that one person wasn't going to buy from you anyway. All right.
Nope.
So do us a favor. Hopefully, this new format of throwing in my comedy, maybe we'll start to throw the comedy thing in every episode.
Maybe you should just have to do a stand-up.
Yeah, each time, yeah. Do me a favor, if you liked this and this made sense to you about those 5 things, script all this stuff out. I got it. If you're on iTunes, drop us just a little comment in the review section. Helps us out big time to let us know. Are we doing them? Are we doing a good job? And then if you're on YouTube, hit the like button, please. It really does help. And I know for me, like I was like nervous putting myself out there with the putting my video on there because I'm like, well, I gotta stand by it now. But I mean, I already performed it in front of 300 people.
Everybody saw it, honestly. So
yeah,
you might as well just get it out
and
there.
I keep showing it to everybody that I'm like, hey, like, how you? Oh, I'm Logan. Watch this. So,
stand-up comedian.
Yeah,
no big deal.
cool. So we good on this one?
Yep, I'm good.
Cool. Guys, thank you very much.